Welcome back, everybody. On your Do Now, I wanted you to explain to me what the Constitution is. This is a phrase we use a lot in the United States, the Constitution, constitutional rights, it's unconstitutional. What does that mean? What is the Constitution? The Constitution is what we're going to be learning about for the next few weeks. The Constitution, simply put, is the plan for the U.S. government. It's how the U.S. government works. So the Constitution is an outline of kind of how the government functions. It's the laws the government has to follow. Basic idea of who has what job, how they do things, when things should happen. It's not a list of every single law in the country. It's just a list of laws of how the government should function. It talks about how they divide power, how to create laws, how to change the Constitution. The Constitution is just fundamental laws that set up the organization and power within a country. One of our big terms we're going to use for the next few weeks is this word tyranny. Maybe you know a different version of this word, tyrant, better. A tyrant is someone who abuses their power. So tyranny is just the abuse of power. When the government has power, do they use it to help people or hurt them? If they're using it to hurt people, we call that tyranny. Now, our government was set up with the number one goal being we need to limit tyranny. We want to stop the abuse of the people. Now, the guys who wrote the Constitution knew tyranny well. They lived under a king for their entire lives who could do, maybe not anything, but can do almost anything. And he abused his power and he abused the people. That's why they fought back. That's why the American Revolution happened. So when they created this government, they're like, we can't do that again. We don't want anybody to have too much power. So what they are going to do is they're going to try and separate the power. Don't let one person have it all. That sounds like a bad idea. When one person has power, they get corrupted. They abuse it. Let's split the power up. Don't let one person or group of people have it all. The more you split up power, the less someone can abuse people. And if they do abuse people, they don't have much power, so they're not going to do as much abusing. Right? So the goal is to split up the power, divide it up amongst different groups of people so no one person has it all. The first power, the first separation, the first branch of our government is called the legislative branch. This is Congress. Their job is to write the laws. That's the only power Congress has. That's a huge power, but they write the laws. They decide what our country does. They're split into two groups, two houses. We call them the Senate House and the House of Representatives. Next week, we'll get into some more details about these two different groups. But they're large groups of people. One has 100, the other one has like 435 people. So no one person has a lot of power in these groups. And as a group, they don't have all the power. All they do is write the laws. The next branch is the executive branch. This is the president, the vice president, the cabinet, the bureaucracy, which is a lot of people, although we focus mostly on the president. Their job is to enforce the laws, make sure whatever law Congress passes is actually enforced by the people, for the people. Our last branch is the judicial branch. This is the court system. It is their job to interpret the laws, understand what the laws mean, if they're being applied properly, and how justice is being administered. This would be like the Supreme Court in our court system. Next week, we're going to go through each one of these. We're going to spend a couple days on each of these branches to understand how they function. Today, our goal is to understand that power has been split up. It's been divided into three branches, and within those branches, it's kind of split up with the idea that no one person can have all that power. We're going to do a quick game. I'm going to ask you, who do you think has the power to do certain things? Is it the legislative branch, the executive branch, or the judicial? So for each question, answer which one you think it is. Your goal today is to read about the different branches, a quick overview of why they're separated and some of their roles. The questions you're going to answer are going to be sort of summarizing. So, big idea, what does the legislative branch do? What does the executive branch do? And then you have a Venn diagram, a 3-circle Venn diagram. You have to tell me where different statements would fit if you're making that Venn diagram. And then you got to tell me which branch do you think is most powerful.